God, I have such boomer taste in guitars. And yeah, this particular one had some issues. But I guess now I'm on the hunt for a good neck-through Firebird. Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another video. So this is the new Epiphone inspired by Gibson Firebird. Neck through, just like the Gibson $599 new, it's the only neck through that they make. Now, is it too good to be true? And also, because it is this channel, we have to see how it does for metal. Let's take a closer look. So, could you tell that Luke and I had just discovered the synthcore masterpiece that is Hypa Hypa before putting that demo track together? And if you weren't distracted by the overabundance of synth, you may have noticed that today I'm not using one of my giant tube heads, but actually the much more affordable and convenient Boss Katana Mark II. Thank you to Boss for sponsoring today's video and making this Epiphone review series possible. Giant tube heads are obviously awesome, but they're also kind of really expensive, and we wanted to show you don't necessarily need them for great tone. The Boss Katana is one of the most popular amps on the planet for a reason. The Katana head is a great all-in-one solution. It's got all the tones you need, from ultra clean to metal as f***. You can mix and match any of the 60 built-in Boss effects. It's light, it's portable, up to 100 watts to power a 412, down to 0.5 watts for bedroom use. Everything can be controlled using software on your computer, and in fact, for this demo, everything was recorded through USB. No external cabs or IRs needed, just the Katana, which at $350 new makes it one of the best practice amps ever. I'm a few weeks into owning mine, and I still haven't been able to get into everything it has to offer. If you're interested, link to more information in the description. Also, clicking it helps out the channel. So, massive thanks to Boss for making this possible, and now let's get into the review. Now, this isn't the first Epiphone Firebird that I've demoed, but unlike the Slash model, this one is much closer to your traditional Gibson as you know it. The Slash had a cool flame maple veneer, full-size Seymour Duncan humbuckers, pretty awesome banjo-style tuners. I'm not saying it wasn't an interesting model, but it wasn't the traditional Firebird. But the traditional Firebird is exactly what this is. Mini humbuckers, and as I mentioned in the intro, the most amazing part, this $599 guitar is neck through. It has the traditional 9-ply mahogany walnut construction.
Great Scott!
And that's actually amazing. Chogley went through it on his channel. It is actually neck through. It's not a veneer or a paint job or anything. And just in case, I can confirm, actually a neck through. One difference, it's got an Indian laurel fingerboard instead of the classically used rosewood, but as I've said many times about Indian laurel, if you didn't tell anybody, I doubt most people except the rosewood aficionados would even notice. But because of that neck through factor, I will say out of all 5 of the Epiphones that I got at once in that big unboxing, this was my most anticipated. It was also one of the more disappointing as far as QC is concerned, which I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty unfortunate.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Especially top of the neck, middle of the fingerboard, it's pretty rough. The fret edges are pretty sharp, not just here, but that's where it's most noticeable. Not enough to ruin the playing experience, but definitely enough where it's pretty annoying. Easy enough fix, but yeah, not great out of the box. But once plugged in, I kind of forgot all about that though, because this is just a super fun guitar to play. Even though the scale length is your Gibson standard 24 3/4 inches, it feels like a much larger guitar compared to an SG or a Les Paul. And that's because 1, the body extends so far back from the bridge, and 2, the headstock is absolutely massive. Add to that Epiphone's slightly D-shaped slim taper neck. If you were blindfolded, couldn't see it, and was just handed this guitar, it feels kind of modern and chug-tastic. And so that's why, even though it's such a classic, vintage-looking guitar on the outside, it inspired me to write something in drop C. This, to me, just feels like something that should be downtuned. I will admit though, even with the Graphtec nut and Grover tuners, it did not like that. Now for the demo track, I went to drop D, and then I used the Digitech for the extra step down. So it wasn't like I was taking this thing set up for standard tuning and making it go too far out of its comfort zone. But yeah, that low D did not like staying in tune. Even so, I was determined to have it in drop tuning. 1, that's what I'm most comfortable with, and 2, these mini Pro Buckers are brighter than the full-sized ones. And so they're actually quite good for lower than standard tunings. Obviously, running through the Boss Katana, here's what this guitar sounds like outside of a mix. So yeah, not bad. I actually prefer this extra brightness over the regular Pro Buckers. These are like pretty crispy, I guess. The extra brightness also helps them work better in a mix as well. Mini humbuckers and chugs. Who knew? Now on this particular unit, the switch is pretty bad though. There's a lot of resistance getting it down to the bridge position, but going the opposite way, all it takes is a slight touch and it'll snap all the way back up into the neck position. It's easily replaceable, but that's not great. So I'm a diehard Les Paul guy. I am all about the single cuts, but I think this has made me realize I kind of really like Firebirds. You know, it's funny, I used to really not bond with the shape whatsoever. It was like an Explorer, but melted. Now I think it's like one of the classiest things out there. It's kind of like the same transformation I had with a Telecaster. God, I have such boomer taste in guitars. And yeah, this particular one had some issues. The fretwork could definitely be better. This is the worst switch I've ever seen on an Epiphone, and that includes the $99 SL. So the QC definitely let this unit down, but fortunately nothing that made the guitar completely unplayable, and overall I really do like the feel and the vibe of the Firebird. The Les Paul Modern is still my favorite out of the Inspired by Gibson collection. I said the SG Modern was my second favorite in that video, but nah, this has taken the number 2 spot now, for sure. And since it is Epiphone, I'm sure they'll experiment with new, interesting colors. Personally, I'm hoping for a blue stain. That would be super cool. So yeah, this is a loaner unit. It's going back to Epiphone. But I guess now I'm on the hunt for a good neck through Firebird. So if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button. These are of course just my opinions. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's the big red button down there and it massively helps me out. And you can also hit the bell for notifications. That way YouTube will let you know when I upload a new video. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome and I'll see you for the next video.